Hello class, this is the social work 4740 final exam review. So I will be reviewing questions from the actual exam and providing you some guidance as far as what you should be studying. So for the first question, uh, when talking about positive reinforcement, uh, the information is on Walsh, chapter 7, page 151. On the second question, talking about behavioral therapy and what ABC stands for, that is on Walsh, page 181. When talking about virtual reality and desensitization techniques, that is on Walsh, chapter 7, page 162. Talking about behavioral theories, philosophy, and its premises, that is located on Welsh, chapter 7, page 146. Talking about learning through observation of role models, that is located on Walsh, chapter 7, page 151. Talking about cognitive behavioral therapy intervention or technique involving the Socratic questioning. That is located on Walsh, chapter 8, pages 181 through 183 and 189 through 190. Talking about cognitive theory and people's irrational beliefs, that is located on Walsh, chapter 8, page 178. So dealing with cognitive distortions and negative habits of thinking and the premise associated with that, that is located on Walsh, chapter 8, page 178. So in CBT, the technique thought stopping is a technique in order which a person changes their negative self-talk by thinking of a positive or a happy, pleasant thought. And so that's how you interrupt those negative self-talks. So as far as cognitive intervention, always being an active process, that is located in Walsh, chapter 8, page 179. Dealing with different types of cognitive distortions, that is located on Walsh, chapter 8, page 178. As far as examples of different cognitive distortions, that is located on Walsh, chapter 8, page 178. So thinking about cognitive theory and the sequence of the influence of beliefs, that is located on Walsh, chapter 8, page 172. Question on theoretical theory of change model, that is located on Walsh, chapter 11, page 252. There is a question on motivational interviewing, and the answer is on Walsh, chapter 11, page 263. There is another question on motivational interviewing, and that answer is on Walsh, chapter 11, page 258. There is another question on motivational interviewing, and that answer is on Walsh, chapter 11, pages 260 and 263. There is the question as far as the different stages of change, and that is located on Walsh, chapter 11, page 257. Having an understanding of what OARS, OARS, is the acronym that's used in motivational interviewing, and that is located in the videos that is posted on motivational interviewing. We're talking about the change process and how it's associated with it and the different stages of change. And so that is on Walsh, chapter 11, 257. So there is another question on motivational interviewing, and that is on Walsh 11, page 255. There's a question on solution-focused brief therapy, and that is on Walsh, chapter 10, page 240. There is another question on solution-focused brief therapy, and that is on Walsh, chapter 10, page 235. So have an understanding of what the definition of crisis is and what it stands for. So that is on Walsh, chapter 13, page 309, and Johnson and Yanka, chapter 10, page 240. Have an understanding of different assessment tools that are utilized to assess a family, and that is on Walsh, chapter 6, page 123, and also on Johnson and Yanka, chapter 13. So have an understanding as far as family systems theory, the primary unit of analysis, and that is on Walsh, chapter 6, page 118. Have an understanding of family systems theory, and that is on Johnson and Yanka, page 438. Have an understanding of family systems theory and family structure, and that is on Walsh, chapter 9, pages 205 to 207. Have an understanding of structural family therapy, and that is on Walsh, chapter 9, pages 203 and 212. Have an understanding of the different techniques that are used as far as family role plays and in the type of therapy that's used in. That is on Walsh, chapter 9, pages 214, 217, 218, and 223. Have an understanding of assessments and face-to-face interviews, and that is on Johnson and Yanka, chapter 8, page 174. Have an understanding of assessments and how they relate to the environment and other things. That is on Johnson and Yanka, page 182, number 9. Have an understanding of what SMART goals are. So SMART goals, SMART stands for specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time sensitive. So have an understanding of the biopsychosocial assessment, and that is on Johnson and Yanka, chapter 8, page 191. Have an understanding of the stages of assessment phase, and that is on Johnson and Yanka, chapter 8, page 186. Know what is the larger expected outcome of therapy, and that is on Johnson and Yanka, page 208. Know how goals are related to an identified problem, and that is on Johnson and Yanka, page 9, page 211. So know what is the purpose of goal setting, and that is on Johnson and Yanka, chapter 9, page 210. Page 210. Have an understanding of what the evaluation of progress does, and that is on Johnson and Yanka, chapter 12, page 282. So have an understanding as far as how termination is associated with the social worker and the client, and that is on Johnson and Yanka, chapter 12, page 293. Have another understanding as far as the termination process, and that is on Johnson and Yanka, chapter 12, page 301. Have an understanding of reactions that can result from termination. That is on Johnson and Yanka, chapter 12, page 293, paragraph 4, and page 294, paragraph 1. So understand as far as assessing a client's reaction to termination, that is on Johnson and Yanka, chapter 12, page 301. Have an understanding as far as when termination starts, that is on Johnson and Yanka, chapter 12, page 294. Have an understanding of common reactions associated with termination, That is on Johnson and Yanka, chapter 12, page 295 and 296. Have an understanding of narrative theory, and that is on Walsh, chapter 12, pages 278 and 280. Have an understanding of object relations as it's associated with other theories, and that is on Walsh, chapter 5, page 85. Have an understanding of the formal definition of the profession dealing with social work practice, and that is on Johnson and Yanka, chapter 7, page 141. Understand as far as assessments, how they're associated with the family, and that is on Johnson and Yanka, chapter 13, page 315. Have an understanding of narrative theory and what it is, and that is on Walsh, chapter 12, page 284. Have an understanding as far as what is done after the initial planning has been done and what are the next steps, and that is on Johnson and Yanka, chapter 10, page 228. Have an understanding of what the professional social work moral code is, and that is on Johnson and Yanka, chapter 4, page 75. Hopefully this will help you to go ahead and do a little bit better on the exam. You'll have a little better understanding to be able to be guided on what you should be studying. Remember, the purpose of an exam is to make sure that you understand and you remember the concepts that you were taught in class and that you should know at the completion of the class. So good luck on your exam.